You were a key part of the Tyson Fury camp recently for the rematch against Deontay Wilder. Crazy performance from Tyson Fury. Not a lot of people thought you had. Well, not a lot of people thought you would carry that game plan off. I read a little thing about you in the airport after the fight with Declan Taylor. Is that somebody asked you? If you caught the fight?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, but that's who's no one's looking at me, Eddie. You know, in the corner. We were having a couple of drinks and just reflecting on it. And some guy was like, "Oh, so you guys see the fight? What do you think?" And I thought, "Yeah, it's caused quite a bit of it." Yeah, I can start laughing, you know. So, yeah.
How would you sum up that night in terms of emotions and being part of that event?
One of the best nights I've experienced in boxing, even compared to my own career, because even like amongst my own career, because I felt so much pressure or so much weight. The result of that fight was like I would have felt it as much. I feel like, honestly, I'm very close to Tyson, and he's a guy I care a lot about. I want him to win the fight as much as I would want to win the fight. But the fact that he called me up, put his trust in me to recommend a trainer, and the fact that he asked me to be involved as well, you know, and the fact that we were the ones who wanted to fight this way. We were the ones who wanted him to have this approach. So we dedicated it. We all committed to it in training. We all day, every day, all we practiced was what you saw. Nothing else. None of the slick moving, shimmering, fading stuff that he always does.
Yeah.
We just worked on what you saw in that fight. And so, everyone was saying it was the wrong approach. No one believed us what we were doing. But the fact that even the night for the fight, even though I was having not doubts, but I was very worried because I knew had this gone wrong, I was going to be one of the main people to blame. Sugar Hill and me, from his family, who I obviously have an affinity with, his brothers and his dad, who I spoke to on the phone a few times during the camp just to reassure him that it would have been on me, that I would have been the one, who would have been to blame. So the fact that he won the fight, it's really, and the way he won the fight, it's up there with some of the best, one of my best nights in boxing.
Yeah, it was it must have been a special night. And in terms of, Tyson is a one-off, isn't he, in terms of how he can adapt his game plan, and he just seems naturally to be one of the most talented heavyweights we've seen. Where do you think he will cement himself in terms of heavyweight legacy in the UK or worldwide?
He's got to be in the argument now. Like, you saw the thing on Max Kellerman, Max on boxing. It's right out. The fact that he's so big and the way he can fight and box inside, outside, mentally so strong. He's up there it'd be hard for any heavyweight in history to beat him. He's already beaten Klitschko. He's beaten Deontay Wilder, the biggest puncher. And I don't know, I think he'll go on to beat Anthony Joshua. Now it's a different fight, it's a hard fight. Certainly, Joshua's a great champion himself. But and if he does fight Joshua and he beats him, then he's got to be he's in the conversation for the greatest heavyweight of all time. And you got to look at him now. The fact that he's won that fight, he's up there with the biggest sports stars in the world, regardless of sports, not just boxing. You look at how he won that fight, the magnitude of that fight, and he's a megastar.
Yeah, he certainly is a superstar, and I think that's obviously down to the way he conducts himself as well. Obviously you guys are related, right? Cousins. What was your kind of relationship growing up alongside Tyson? Were you close? Were you in contact during kind of childhood, or?
No, I didn't know Tyson. First I heard when I turned pro, I started to hear about it. After a while, I started to hear about him, but I didn't really know him growing up because he lived in England. We were second cousins, and it really came. He wanted to box for the Irish title, and he was trying to trace his Irish roots. They got in touch with my dad, who would be his mother's first cousin, And my dad went and had to sign an affidavit because they had no birth papers back in the day to say that his granny, who was my grandmother's sister, was born in County Tipperary, Banshee County Tipperary. So that's when we first really got to know him. And he came to a few of my fights in Dublin. I went to his fights in Dublin and in England, and we didn't really get to know each other properly until he came to Detroit at that time, and that was it, like, we hit it off. I think he's always admired me for going to America and fighting in the Cronk, and the fights I had and the fights, I won, and I've always admired him because I realize, like, I know the talent he has. Like I don't think he knows how good he is, and he's quite how can I say, self-depreciating, whatever it is.
Yeah,
but, like, he's quite modest in that, but like he's unbelievably talented. I don't think he realizes how good he is, because men his size shouldn't fight like that. Men his size can't fight like that in terms of being that coordinated and be able to do all the things he does, and also to have that will and the strength of character that we've all seen now. That's what people don't realize. He's bred to do this. If you look at his family history, they're all fighting people. He's like the perfect genetic mix of all of these men, from his dad to his uncles to his grandfathers on both sides, being fighting men, and he's just the result of all that.
And is that the same on your side? So when you look back at your family, is that a similar sort of heritage?
No, not so much. He's got the Bartons and he's got the Gormans. And it's more on his side. But boxing, as a young traveller or gypsy, you grow up with boxing, and that's just the way it is. Boxing is part of your youth, So
yeah,
we always had that.
Nice. Just a couple more, Andy. I'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your quarantined evening. I know obviously you released your book, I believe, was it last year? Was it the back end of 2018?
A couple of years ago. I'm not sure, maybe 17, 17 maybe 18, who knows, yeah.
not too long ago. And it's a fantastic bit of work. In terms of that project, how did that feel for you, putting your life down on paper and opening up for the public, if you like?
I don't even think about it. Once it's done and it's out there. I put in a lot of time in it, put a lot of time into it, and a lot of work. But I don't even. I kind of like, people. I meet strangers on the street and they can tell me about things, and I forget, and I wonder how does he know that? But anyway, then I realise, I have a book out. But yeah, now the book, it's for me, it's a legacy, that something that my children will read and my grandchildren will read, and they'll know about my life. So yeah, it's a nice little thing to do. And I brought in another few quid as well, so that's not bad.
You've got to make it work for you.
Yeah.
Great. Now, Andy, obviously we don't know what's happening just now in terms of having your guys back out again. If I was to ask you, we're almost approaching the summer now, by the end of next year or the next 18 months, do you have an idea of what you would like to see happen with the guys, or do you think you'd be in a position to take somebody else on?
I think Jason, within the next 18 months, Jason Quigley should be fighting for a world title.
Yeah.
And like this fight with Jack Cullen's been rumoured a lot and talked about a lot. It was in the process of being made before things came to a halt. That's a fight we will have and take. And it's a good fight for both men. And Paddy, I think, things like Paddy, I would like to keep fighting him once a month now, but he should have fought on Tuesday, and then we'd fight again in April, and on and on and on. But things are just slowed down. So I was hoping to have Paddy about 10-0 by the end of the year. We get 7 fights this year, but we're just going to have to wait and see with this virus and how it affects everything.
I spoke to Rob after he spent time in the gym, and I said to him, obviously you watched Paddy do a little bit of work, and I wanted to know just how special he thought Paddy looked, and he said he looked extremely, extremely promising. How would you sum him up as a talent compared to the people you've seen previously?
He's as good as I've seen. He's as good as a young fighter I've seen. When you see what he does, he spars, like, no one in Ireland will spar him now. It's very hard for me to get him sparring. It's just incredibly hard for anyone. Like, he's sparring light heavyweights and super middleweights because nobody around his weight will turn up to spar or even agree to spar. So it's getting very hard. That's one of the biggest challenges I'm going to have with him, is keeping him stimulated and keeping him challenged. And that's the problem we have in Ireland. There's not a lot of good sparring here anyway. But like, he's a sensational talent. Can do it all. Can punch, can fight, can box. Just needs to be that's all. Just got to stay dedicated and be managed and take him through the process of gaining experience. But in terms of talent, he's world class.
Very exciting stuff. Yeah, that's great. Hopefully he can get back out soon. And last one, Andy. Obviously we spoke about a lot of great memories, a lot of promising stuff moving forward. Boxing is a notoriously tough sport. What would you say is the hardest part of being involved in boxing professionally?
I think a lot of the hardest part is the mismanagement of fighters. Like, it's just a different landscape now to when I boxed. That you can get an opportunity. There are opportunities now. There's so much TV dates, and if you're halfway talented, you will get chances. But I think just people promising you things and then they're not coming to fruition. It's very easy to get disillusioned as a fighter. But I think things are different now. I think I don't think there are as many crooks in boxing. Maybe I'm being naive, but I've so far as a manager and as a trainer, I guess that's because I've only been dealing with small number of people. But it just seemed like when I was pro early in my career and throughout my career, you had to deal with a lot of dirty people, and that was one of the reasons why I was happy to walk away. But it seems like there's a lot of opportunities now, and there are a lot more chances even for average fighters to get world title fights. So it's a good time to be a boxer. So I would say just don't get disillusioned with it and stay focused. And that's what I had to do: persevere, even though things are not happening. You might not get opportunities. Other fighters get fights that you want. Just carry on and wait for your chance. Yeah,
definitely. And it's great you're using your experience as well to help those guys navigate themselves through that. Andy, absolutely brilliant. Really appreciate that.
Thanks, thank you very much. Thanks for the call.
Cheers, mate. I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.
See you anytime. Give us a call or text.
Cheers, Andy. Thank you, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.